Airbnb arbitrage is the best way to make passive income and achieve financial freedom in 2024. Yet every single day I talk to so many people who are doing Airbnb arbitrage that have yet to make a single dollar in profit. But when I take a look at under the hood and see exactly how they're running their business and take a look at their listings, I see the same mistakes over and over and over again. That's why in this video, I'm gonna go over the top 5 mistakes that I see a lot of you people making and exactly what to do to fix them. That way you can finally start making some passive income using Airbnb arbitrage, which is the best strategy in 2024. Now, the first mistake that I see a lot of people making, and it's an easy one, that their listings look like complete garbage. And honestly, they look horrible. The reason why I assume is because in 2024, people think Airbnb is the same as it was 3 years ago in 2021. You can't just put in IKEA furniture, a few wall art, paint a few walls, and call it a day. That's not how it is anymore. Design has to be on point. There's more competition than ever. You have to make sure your property is designed professionally and designed the best as possible to make the most amount of money. You are competing with thousands of other hosts in your city. You're competing with hosts like me and hosts like my students that are gonna blow you out of the water every single time, especially with design. You have to make sure you aren't just going on IKEA or Amazon, ordering random furniture and throwing it all in there. You have to actually design your property and make sure it's elegant, it's beautiful, it's Instagrammable, it's Pinterestable. What I would do to fix this mistake is go on Fiverr or Upwork, hire an interior designer. You can hire one for as little as $100 to $200 per unit. That way, all you have to do is send them an actual full video of your entire unit or a 2D layout. Then they'll go ahead and design the entire thing from you from scratch and design it in a much more beautiful and elegant way. And they'll actually even source the furniture for you, create 3D renderings, and show you exactly what it looks like before you actually order your furniture. That way, your Airbnb listing is going to be the top 1% of the best designed units in your entire city. The second biggest mistake that I see people make is signing a lease for the wrong type of unit. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Anytime you're prospecting a listing on Zillow.com and you see what the rents are, you have to take into account how much revenue each of the bedroom types are going to make. For example, let's say a building has a 1-bedroom apartment where the rent is $2,000 and the rent for a 2-bedroom is $2,500. Now, looking at Airbnb and looking at accurate comps, you should be able to figure out how much actual revenue a real comparable 1-bedroom apartment will make. Let's say you do that correctly and you figure out that 1-bedroom will make $4,000 a month, not including your housekeeping. Now, let's estimate utilities and housekeeping and maintenance and everything else to be almost around $800 a month. That gives you a profit of $1,200 to $1,000 per month in net free cash flow, which is good. Now let's take a look at the 2 bedrooms. We see the 2 bedrooms make an additional $600 versus the 1 bedrooms. They make $4,600 a month. So you're probably thinking, that's fine. I'll pay an additional $500 in rent to make an additional $600 in revenue. What you're not realizing is that the utilities for 2 bedrooms are a lot more. The cost to clean for housekeeping for a 2-bedroom is also a lot more. So actually your net margins on that 2-bedroom will be a lot lower than your 1-bedroom. A lot of the times, just because the revenue for a property is more, doesn't mean you should always go with that property type, because one, your rents could be higher, your utilities are higher, and your housekeeping costs are also higher. When you're running the numbers, you have to make sure you're doing a full comparative analysis, including everything in terms of like comps, all your utilities, housekeeping costs, and making sure that you're getting accurate underwriting done. That way you know you're actually going to be profitable and making sure you're taking on units that will make you the most money possible. A lot of people, when they're running comps, they're not picking the right property to run an accurate comp. What I mean by this is that if you have a 1-bedroom apartment on Airbnb doing $4,000 a month, and you also have a 1-bedroom apartment, you can't just assume your 1-bedroom is going to do the exact same, because a lot of times that 1-bedroom is going to be a lot nicer than yours, going to have nicer finishes, and that building might have a pool, might have a gym, might have free parking. Just those 3 things alone, having a pool, gym, and free parking, will instantly increase your revenue. And if you have none of those things, or you're missing a few of those things, don't assume you're going to do better or even anywhere close, because you're missing those key amenities. I have a 3-hour video in my Airbnb Accelerator Academy where I go into detail on how to underwrite deals and do proper comparative analysis when you're looking at new listings and finding your first Airbnb. Now, the third biggest mistake that I see a lot of people do is pay too much for their housekeeping. I see a lot of people making great revenue with their properties, but I see barely any profit left over because you're paying your housekeepers more than what you're actually making yourself. Now, if you're paying almost $100 for a 1-bedroom apartment, or $75, even $80, you're paying way too much. It takes a maximum of an hour to clean a 1-bedroom apartment. At minimum wage being $7 an hour, realistically, it should only take you 1 hour to clean, therefore paying $7. Of course, you're not going to pay somebody $7 to clean that apartment. I like to pay them double. Pay anywhere from $15 to $20 for that 1 unit to be cleaned. Pay for supplies and laundry. Your total hard cost should be anywhere from $25 to $30 for that 1-bedroom apartment. Make sure no matter what you do, you pay by unit, because when you start paying by hour, people start running the clock and start burning a lot of time, and you actually end up paying a lot more. When I started out, I initially hired cleaning contractors, then hired my own cleaners in-house per hour, found out they were stealing from me, burning a lot of time and wasting money. Then I switched everybody over to per unit. And doing it per unit, you save the most amount of money. They're happy, they finish early, they make more money. You're happy, you keep costs under control, successful and you have a system in place where no one's stealing time. The fourth mistake that I see a lot of people do in their business is not using business credit. When you're expanding, the last thing you want to be using is cash for all your furniture. You want to be using business credit cards. That way you can keep everything on your business credit card, not pay anything for 12 to 15 months using 0% APR cards, and therefore you can save your cash for when you need it and use it to pay your rent, security deposits, and just use it for emergencies in case anything comes up. Using business credit is the fastest way to blitz scale and grow your business as fast as possible. The last 3 years, I've only used business credit and have almost $800,000 in business credit cards alone. That's allowed me to scale my business from 0 all the way to 500 Airbnb arbitrage units, making over $1.5 million every single month. And keep in mind, when you first start out, your business is not going to have any business credit. When the bank runs a credit check for your business, they're also going to run your personal credit as well. So make sure your personal credit is top tier, because what they're going to do is run a blended credit check where they're going to use your personal credit, mix it in with your business, and then they'll approve you for business credit cards. And it's only going to be like that for the first couple months. And then after that, they won't be using your personal credit anymore. And finally, the number one biggest mistake that I see a lot of people in this business make is not keeping good relationships with their landlords or property managers. Because remember, this entire business is people-based. You get deals by talking to people. You strike deals by talking to people. You negotiate by talking to people. You save money by talking to people. You have to treat people with respect. A lot of times you do have falling out with property managers. You have fallings out with your landlords. You have to make sure you both come to some type of agreement, no matter what the disagreement is. A lot of times you do have a falling out. More than likely, you're not going to get renewed and you're not going to be operating that building next year when your renewal comes up. A lot of people start arbitrage, and after their first lease cycle, they're not doing arbitrage anymore because they get kicked out from all their buildings because they kept such bad relationships with their property management company or their landlords that they're working with. I made this mistake early on in my business during year one, where I didn't really pay any attention or care too much about the people that I was working with. Now, fast forward 3 years later, I'm taking my landlords and building managers out to NBA games, $1,000 steak dinners. I'm wining and dining every single person that I'm working with. I'm tipping the building's concierge. I'm tipping leasing agents. I'm even paying some of their commissions. I'm doing whatever I can out of my own pocket to make everybody in the building a lot happier with me. That way, when it comes time for renewals or even more units pop up, I'm the first person they call and the last person they call because they know Humza is the best person and we love working with him. Every year, it's not about how many units you can add on, it's about how many units you keep, because you want to make sure you keep getting renewed over and over again. And that only happens if you keep great relationships with your landlords and keep great relationships with your property managers. So make sure no matter what you do, if you do have a falling out, amend it, try to look past it, and just move on with it and try to be in good relationships with every single person that you're working with. So that's the top 5 Airbnb arbitrage mistakes and how to fix them. You can now take a look at your own business, fix all the mistakes that I pointed out, and finally start making tens of thousands of dollars a month in profit, right? Wrong. Of course, if you fix all the 5 mistakes that I mentioned, you'll be a lot closer to being successful rather than not taking any action. But there could be something fundamentally wrong with your strategy or your business, and I can't really help you unless I know exactly what it is. Everyone's difficulty and everyone's situations are unique to their own. So if you want to do Airbnb arbitrage the right way and you need help starting or even scaling your arbitrage business, then I have something for you. It's my flagship mentoring program where I coach people one-on-one, just you and me, on how to exactly start, scale, and automate your Airbnb arbitrage business. I cover everything from finding your first property in as little as 2 to 3 weeks, how to scale that first property to over 50, and finally, how to automate the entire business from A to Z. That way, you're not an operator, you're an owner, and you can sit back and relax and watch your business make money. This way, you can finally achieve that passive income that you've been dreaming of. If that sounds like something you're interested in, click the link at the bottom of the description to book a call with me and my team, and we'll see if you're a good fit for my Airbnb Accelerator program. As always, make sure you're subscribed for more Airbnb arbitrage content, and I'll see you all in the next video.